just here live now at the law courts. Staniford here live. You're back in Canada now. How is your crossing over the border?
It's great to be back in Canada, and I'm here in Vancouver at the Court of Appeal defending free speech. The Norwegian government, as represented by mainstream Canada, are trying to clamp down on people speaking out against salmon farming. So we have a lawsuit called the Salmon Farming Kills lawsuit, and Cermaq, which is the Norwegian government, are appealing today in court to reverse a decision from Justice Adair, and they're seeking an immediate permanent injunction against myself and other people speaking out against saying basic things like salmon farming spreads diseases. So this is a very basic statement: salmon farming spreads disease. This is a factual statement based upon peer-reviewed science, and the Norwegian government are trying to shut down free speech.
Now, the last we know is that you actually won the case. So how are you back in court here, and what premise would they have for them to appeal? What are the basis of their arguments, do you feel?
The Norwegian government and this company are ignoring the first rule of public relations: when in a hole, stop digging. So they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're bringing wider public attention to this campaign, and they're just heaping more global shame upon themselves.
So what do you expect today? How long do you expect to be in trial, and what is the basis of your defense that you haven't done already?
This is an appeal, so it's just a one-day hearing in front of 3 judges, and the defense is the same as last time: fair comment, which has been renamed honest opinion. So I honestly believe that salmon farming kills. It kills seals, it kills sea lions, it kills workers in Chile, and it kills the sea floor. It spreads infectious diseases. So it leaves a global trail of misery all over the planet.
Okay. And is there a decision expected today? What type of outcome do the judges have in their power?
It's highly unlikely there'll be a decision today. It may be months, but the 3 judges have considered the legal documents. Their lawyers have a 30-page factum. That's the appeal documents. My lawyer has a 20-page factum, and then they replied to that. So that will be argued in court today, and the jury will be out on when a decision is, but hopefully the original judgment upholding free speech will be vindicated, and people around the world will be allowed to speak out against salmon farming.
Now, you'd mentioned before that this case wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have been heard in other courts around the world. How does Canada differ?
Canada, you think you live in a free country, a free democracy in Canada, but under the Harper government, the freedom of speech and the degrees of freedom that people have are being curtailed. So this is a very important fight. This is not just about my case. This is not just about environmental campaigners. This is about social justice campaigners, anybody in Canada speaking out upon an issue, because this is the first line of defense. If they manage to curb freedom of speech here, then it'll make inroads into other areas in Canada.
What do you say about the critique that was brought by, I believe, Eco Justice in terms of like your approach and some of the stuff that you brought into court that possibly hampered your case with respect to, Justice Adair called you a zealot and a number of other things that could be deemed as personal or their fact. Do you have any response to that?
Well, it's, being a campaigner, you have to take the flak. A lot of mud is slung at you, but these are big corporations. The lawyers that they have defending this Norwegian multinational are one of Canada's biggest law firms. So they're throwing everything at the kitchen sink at me, and thankfully My lawyer's name is David, so he's used to taking on and winning against the big Goliath. This is a multinational, multi-million-dollar company, Cermaq. This is effectively the Norwegian government, and they're trying to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. But, you know, I'm a hard case, and I'm not going to crack.
And anything with respect to the latest provincial election, how that may affect your case and the judges, or, you know, does that change the atmosphere if it's a Liberal government or NDP for you?
I think there is a chilling effect depending on which government's in power, but certainly in Canada, under the Harper government, under the Conservative government, free speech is being eroded. Harper is closing libraries. He's effectively burning books like Hitler did. And in British Columbia, you've got Christy Clark and the Liberal government, they're not liberal. They're curtailing freedom, they're advancing big business, and they're selling off BC's natural assets to China, to Asia, selling off oil, selling off salmon. So I think this is an important case, and this has ramifications not just in British Columbia, but also in Canada and the Commonwealth.
Any last thoughts you want to say here before we wind it up?
No, I just thanks for everybody's support, and it's a very important case. The implications of this case are very significant. If I lose, it's not just me that loses, it's other people's. They lose the power of free speech.
All right, we'll get you back in the break and done another interview with you.
Thanks.